Give us your best Christian Benteke story, like something that take us a
Oh,
bit inside the locker room, because he won the Golden Boot and
mhm.
clearly has established himself. But do you have a story in terms of his mentality or mindset, or just jokes or laughs that you can share with us? Because it's not often you get to play with the player during a
Yes,
season
man.
that ascends to a level of accolades like that.
Mhm.
And that's
Yes, man.
what's, I think Jalil's done an amazing job of reminding people this is really hard. To get to the MLS Cup, it is hard. To win a cup, it's harder. But to be on a team with an MVP or a Golden Boot winner, that's just a different experience. So, how would you
Yes, man.
describe just a short snapshot, really, because now you get the full runway heading into 2025 of what it's like to play with a Golden Boot winner, and anything you can share that can enlighten the crowd and the audience.
Yeah. No, I went back to back where I had the MVP of the league in
Oh,
Lucho
that's right.
Acosta and Cincy.
That's right.
In the following year, Benteke. But man, Benteke is I don't. There's a calm confidence about him. A man of few words, but his presence says a lot. And when he speaks, people listen. And great story about him. His personality is amazing. People love him in the locker room. One of the kindest people in the locker room. Will do anything for anybody, and I mean that. And I'm talking the youngest kid to any other vet. He really challenges himself to be present and guide the younger kids through their careers. And so when I first got there, I had heard chatter in the locker room, hey, Benteke said if he wins, he's going to take us all to Miami. He's going to fly us out.
What?
He's going to fly us out. He's going to pay for the hotels. And I'm like, all right, yeah, right. 6 months. Like, yeah, all right. The young kids happy. We haven't been to Miami. and at that point, it was close. He was close. He was like 2 or 3 goals ahead. So I'm like, nah, this is not happening. Not that he's not winning the Golden Boot, but nah, he's not going to take us out. Because as soon as the season's done, a lot of the foreign players, they're back at home.
Oh, they'd be out.
Man, he dipped so quick.
And he spends his time in Dubai, and he's like, yeah, as soon as the season is done, I'm out. So I'm seeing him climb up as the weeks are going. I'm seeing him climb up that goal leading ladder, climbing up to the point where, yeah, he might win this thing. and it's interesting. Anytime the Miami trip came up in the locker room, humble as he is, he's like, no, I haven't won it yet. Like, you guys have to wait. And it got to the point where it was like he was 4 goals ahead, and it was the last weekend. Still, guys are like, yo, when we going to Miami? When we going to Miami? And still, he's like, no, guys, like, just wait until it happens. He wins it, end of the year. A couple weeks go by, it's kind of quiet. So I'm like, yeah, you see? Nah, he's not taking us. So randomly out of the blue, group chat, WhatsApp, everybody on the roster. Hey guys, just let me know who's available this weekend to go to Miami. Guys, almost everybody on the roster.
They canceling plans.
What? And he's like, all right. He ended up, long story short, paying for all of our flights to go and come back.
Wow.
Paid for all of our hotel rooms and paid for every single one of our meals and any events we had when we went out. I could have gone without my wallet, and I would have been good.
That's amazing.
And he did that for over 20 players. Everybody who was available and could go, he took care of everybody.
Wow. So
Amazing.
now when I asked you earlier about why you in Miami and how it's easy for you to balance out training for the preseason, because you done already been to Miami with the homies already.
He could do the work. He came here with a business. He had his briefcase on this trip, but he didn't bring it on the last one. We'll just say that.
I said, damn, 2 days wasn't enough. I said, I gotta make another trip.
That's amazing, yo. That's amazing.
Yeah, I played with a lot of DPs, and this is the most like gracious act I've ever seen out of any of the DPs. And not once, honestly, did he expect to thank you. It's just something that he felt like he wanted to do for the guys. And during every meeting, beginning of the week, he would speak, and after scoring, And he would always say, guys, I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. And it got to the point where towards the end of the year, when it's like, all right, Benteke, you scored. You got to come up and to give a little speech. Before he even speaks, everyone's like, all right, thank you guys. I wouldn't have done this without you. He didn't even need to speak. And so, but that, for me, that summed him up, just selfless.
Nah, that's fire. That's so fire.
Mate, so refreshing, Dom. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, for real. Nah, that's so fire. And what it's making me think about though is the fact that you be hearing stories like this in other leagues that may be definitely more culturally relevant in the States. So when you talk about NFL, you'll be hearing about quarterbacks buying trucks for their linemen and all that.
Oh yeah.
Or stuff like that.
Saquon
And
about to buy that O-line in Philly, like Rolexes, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. They this time of year, watch over the next handful of days, these gifts. So it's just cool to see him understand that it was his opportunity to do something just like that.
For real. Right. And it to me, it raises the legitimacy of football in this country. It raises more awareness about like, yo, what we're doing over here now, this is legit. Like this is a legit experience. You're having players that are doing these types of things for players in their locker room, where a lot of people look at soccer in a certain way in this country where they're like, wait, when is the season though? Or, oh, like, okay, when does MLS start? Or things like that. Nah, where you have global stars, because Benteke is a global star who is not only has killed it at, in some of the greatest leagues in the world, but he's also killing it here in MLS while also carrying that same standard. So
to go off of what you said, I think it's important with platforms like this to tell these stories. As humble as he is, he will never say it. He will never speak a word of it. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important to give him his roses, his flowers, where it's deserved. And this was honestly an act that I think we speak about it in the locker room as a group, of course, but let people know that, this guy's a lot more than a goal scoring machine.
That sums up just who Alan and I are as people. It sums up a lot of what I was talking about the Black community in general, but more specifically the Black community in soccer in North America. We trying to put people on though, for real. But most importantly, it's to show what really happens, how people really think, how our lives have really been affected for better or for worse or indifferent in this experience in football.